And welcome guys to another little video. Now today I'm going to be my planned streams are tonight are going to deal with animating a gun in Unity and doing some code fixes and stuff. And at the end of this video, well actually I'll probably show you right now, is a couple products that I've used recently and in the past that I would like to introduce you guys into. Is a couple. Now, since it wants to be a bus, okay. One is the current mouse that I actually use is a G700 by Logitech. It's a really good mouse. I think you could pick them up now for like 50 bucks on eBay or something like that, brand new. But it's got profiles. It's really nice on just all around. I haven't had any tracking issues or the speed. It actually, one of the buttons on there is actually a speed control. So if you want it to be more sensitive or less sensitive or just change the entire profile out, you can. It is also wireless, plus it comes with the feature that you can plug in to a cable to charge the mouse. It has an interchangeable battery, so you do not have to worry about, hey, this battery inside of it's junk now, so yeah, let's just throw it away. Now, as you can see, this one is very wore out, and I'm telling you, it works just like brand new. And I've had it for a couple years now, with all those little clickies, first-person shooters, World of Warcraft. I'm literally, it is battle tested. That's one of the reasons why I made a video on it, because I think it deserves its achievements. Let's say that much. I haven't had any wireless issues with it either, so it's been really nice. And the little sensor for it is very small. I mean, you barely see it popped out of the USB, and it is 2.0, so it'll work with anything, and it's just really nice. Now, the other thing that you see on your screen is a Arctic thermal paste. Okay, it's used for bonding CPUs and helping transfer heat from a processor to a heat sink for air cooling. I found that this solution right here has done a lot better than what I used to use as Arctic Silver 5. Now this one will not work that great on, you won't see, it'll work for water cooling, but there's something better out there for water cooling. It's because of the low temperature. In water cooling, sometimes you'll get it really super low. It doesn't really like it. It doesn't work as well in this compound. But if you have any type of air cooling system, now before you're like, oh, this stuff sucks, let's just use Arctic Silver 5. Yeah, you'll be fine with that. But if you're overclocking and things like that, you're trying to push your limits a little. That's when I see there's a lot more gain into this. Now, I'm not saying just go hardcore into it and like break your system or whatnot. But I'm saying, if your usual system is starting to go up a little high, and system temp, with your processors and everything else, and it's just not cutting it, right? So, it's not cutting it. So you're like, well, I need some better stuff. Well, this stuff is actually, I found, a lot better than Arctic Silver 5. It's a little bit more pricier, but my old temperatures used to be about 35 to 45 or 50 at some cases, and that the 50s were like long-term games where my processor was like at 90 some percent. So I was like, yeah, this is really, really high. And my processor specs say I can go clear up to like almost 60. It's like 60, I think, and be perfectly fine. But I was like, yeah, I'm really not liking it. So, I went pasting and everything else. And, I used to have Arctic Silver 5, and that's what I was doing. But on this stuff, I'm seeing temperatures that are a little bit below 30 on idle, and I have yet to reach 40. I was like at 41, I think. I've never touched 45, and that's like really tapping out my processor for numerous things. Like, I literally wanted to see with a benchmark, just to push my system to the limit, to make sure that my cooling solution isn't like terrible. And it worked relatively well, I mean, it's well within the range, and it did actually lower it. Now, I've had this in for about 2-3 months now, and it's not improved over time, but it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. For $10 for this 4 gram pack. Now, if you're not familiar, 4 grams is a lot for just pasting a CPU. You probably want to get something lower than 4 gram, but I do a lot of computer builds for friends and things like that, so I have to have something a little bit more when it comes to every time I order one, just because I do a lot of them and I build systems. But if you're just a regular old gamer and you do this every once in a blue moon, do not buy as big of it. Buy a littler pack, because this stuff only lasts for so long, and there's no sense you buying more just so it can get wasted. You want to use your money for better things, like more games, right? Now, for GPU wise, this helps a lot for me as well. I've seen like 7-8 degree difference in a GPU temperature, which is a lot for dropping it down. I mean, face it, your GPU runs pretty warm. I mean, it runs just as warm as your CPU, and let's just face it, it's got a bigger heatsink on. I mean, most video cards, the entire thing is nothing but a heatsink. So yeah, and it's safe for it. It's non-conductive, and it's really easy to clean up as well. I've done a few systems where I had to take the fan off again and everything. Now, the silly thing is, I had a problem at one time where my heat buildup was an issue because my fan wasn't enough. This was actually helping it transfer the heat so much from a processor that it was really extremely high that it didn't have enough cooling to just cool down the fins on the heatsink. And I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. I was like, what's going on here? Because my CPU temperature is really low, but I sit there with the heat gun, and that thing was hotter than crap. And I'm like, wow. So eventually it would succumb to the heat. It couldn't transfer anymore because the heatsink was just so hot. So I had to get a better fan and stuff. And it dramatically just went down a lot more because, as you know, it transfers heat both ways. It takes it off the processor, but it can also transfer cool air onto there. So the colder your heatsink is, the cooler your CPU can go. And I was like, wow, that's because I've never had that issue where it just succumbed like that. But this was a computer that was running like hardcore games for like 10 hours or so. You know, it would just do a thermal shutdown because I had it set up that way. He's like, I'm worried that I'm going to mess up my computer. So basically, in all the little BIOS settings and everything else, there's a setting. And if you don't know this, a lot of gamer boards have this. And it is a benefit to invest in a great motherboard. If you have one that has thermal protection, like to keep your CPU from burning up and stuff like that, without being dependent on the operating system, you should get it. It's very, very highly recommended because the BIOS will automatically just shut it down. It doesn't care. And even if your system locks up, like let's say you're asleep and it locks up, well, guess what? The BIOS is still going to protect you from just overheating and stuff. So very, very good tip for you. Just invest in a good motherboard. Trust me, you will be grateful, especially if you're one like me. When you spend about 300 some bucks on a processor, you're gonna be like, oh my god, my $300 processor is all burnt up. Now I have to spend more money and I ain't got it. Yeah, trust me, it could happen. And you're going to be like, that extra $50 that I spent on a motherboard, oh my god, it was so worth it. I've done it. I've done that song, I've done that dance, and if you take anything from this video and you actually have that issue happen to you, you're going to go back, you're going to be like, I seen this video a long time ago, I'm going to hit the like now. Because it just saved me like 300 bucks or $100 and some for a processor. Oh my god, he deserves it. Click, click. But yeah, that is what I have to say about all that. And you know, I hope these two products help you in some form of way. You know, check them out. They are worth. I would each one of these. I'm not gonna lie. I would buy them again. I would buy them 2 or 3 times. And I'm not getting no money for telling you this or anything like that. My entire concept for the channel is to give you guys great content and actually give you something that's not shoving like garbage down your throat. Like, oh, here's some little kitties or something like that. No, no. This is real talk. And, you know, no garbage and no just junk. Because we've all seen and came across those videos where they actually said absolutely nothing. So, yeah, this has been so, have a nice day, guys. And if you come out to the stream, thank you very much. This is Wardon over and out. If I don't see you, have a good day and, you know, be cool and stay strong.